Hello everyone, happy Halloween, and welcome back to some more Let's Play the Occult Chronicles. In the last episode, Sarah, Nana, and Awa had finished exploring all the first floor, revealing all the rooms within it and finding a few paths that lead outside. We then began trying to turn in and complete any of the quests remaining on the first floor to give us any upgrades that we can possibly get before we move on to the harder floors and or the backyard. So let's continue doing so. So first off, everyone, well, not first off, but a heads up that if you're living in the States, that tonight is daylight savings night. So we're supposed to set our hours back, our clocks back an hour at midnight tonight. This is always my favorite of the two encounters when it comes to daylight savings, because we gain an extra hour instead of losing one during springtime. I can tell you, quite honestly, if a president had said that to be elected had said that they would have gotten rid of daylight savings, that guy would have gotten my vote. I hate daylight savings. I want it gone. It's so aggravating during the spring, especially the spring one when you lose an hour. Cheers, mate. I'm Colonel Von Pelt, and you are my prey. Unless, of course, you can prove yourself useful. It seems one of my trophies has left a roost. I want you to track it down and return it to its rightful place. Come back here and let me know how you fared, or I will track you down. Oh wait, we read that a long time ago. You said to tell Van Pelt that you have returned the head of the polar bear to the trophy wall. I don't like these odds. 5 target, 5 draw with 8 tricks. I don't like it, so we are going to actually complete this quest instead. Colonel Von Pelt roars with approval when he observes you approach. You did well, lassie. I'll not hunt you today. You can't tell from his ear-to-ear grin whether he's joking or not. He raises his elephant gun and pulls the trigger. Your ears ringing, and when the cloud of ghostly smoke clears, you realize that Van Pelt is gone. The sun. All edges that you possess are increased on one level, if able, after this card is used to take a trick. That is amazing. Unfortunately, we don't really have many edges that we need to increase through this means. Blind fighting is garbage, and we don't need 1 point in high accuracy. We will probably hold on to the sun until we acquire quite a few more edges to be used, who can benefit from that effect. I'm so glad I listened to what I say, because I say all the wrong things almost all the freaking time. Alright, we're here for the smoldering corpse. The butler will check on the Iron Maiden and see if that's possible for us to do. Guardians, cultists. Alright, we've fought these guys a few times now. We'll fight them again. Oh, a bad hand. A page of wands, then we have 2 3s, 4, a 5, and a 7. So this is not very good. I don't want to use Whirlwind. It's 2 to 3 courage. We won't use it. Let's just flip cards and hope we can do well. We'll have to get a 4, Tim. Let's try it. Nope, didn't work. But that did. Holy crap, our 3 of Pentacles can take the 2 of Pentacles if we win the challenge just barely. We haven't gotten anything from one of the random encounters in some time now, have we? I think we keep failing that to do so. Alright, Smoldering Corpse. This thing seems almost seared into the chair. The fingers are what catch your eye. So this is what the gentleman ghost meant. They do indeed look like cigars. You decide to grab a bunch of them. No face cards. We do have 3 9s, though, so that's somewhat acceptable. You snatch a few of the fingers and put them in your pocket. Not able to leave its chair, the creature howls in anger. Alright, let's turn the quest in with the butler. This will let us take this will give us an experience point at the very least. The butler wants you to go find the chef in the kitchen. Oh, we read that. You approach the butler and tell him what you have done. Thank you so much, miss. I was beginning to think that you had headed off in the wrong direction. Good show. The Empress. You are immune to the effects of any instant insanity card that is revealed during the results phase while this card is in your inventory. An edge upgrade. What the heck? And 1 life. Blind fighting is useless, so we might as well take high accuracy. Blind fighting is so useless because we'll have to get extremely lucky to have. We need to find a knife or a melee weapon that affects an item in our hand. They exist, they're out there, but we'll have to find one. And until I find one, I'm not really interested in blind fighting because we may find none of them. So we'll take high accuracy instead to further reduce the amount of bullets fired. However, probably the next edge upgrade will go into blind fighting instead. Because -2 bullets, most pistols, which are more commonly found than... Actually, so I believe for pistols, they fire 1 or 2 bullets. I think every single one of them does that. So some fire 2 bullets, guaranteed. Others are 1 to 2. The Tommy gun fires, I think, 3 to 5 bullets. And the shotgun fires, I think, 2 or 3. But I think reducing the bullet count by 2 is fantastic. And you'll note that the edge upgrade, so far, has not affected us. So at least these edges don't cause the issue. And I think we're going to risk the plank. I'm going to save the game first, though, because I might Control-Alt-Delete if I don't manage to do it. Because this will save us a ton of time getting back on that side of the mansion. And there's nothing else. Oh, there was an Iron Maiden. I don't think I'm ready for the Iron Maiden yet. I think I want 1 more points in wands if I can somehow get it. Oh, which reminds me, everyone. Let's go ahead and spend this experience point. So, the Talisman Edge. So I restored all the edges, the edge files, back to their original values. I had modded the Talisman Edge selection to allow you to select amongst any of the talisman edges in the game whenever you selected it. This was because it was my belief at that time that the original aspect of the talisman edge is a miserable aspect of it. The talisman edge in the skill card generally, actually in the base game, only gives you benefits to the showing up and the release chance of talismans of the matching element. So, for example, cups is water, pentacles is earth, swords is air, and wands are fire. As such, we could not gain a +1 to our wands score for having a fire wands talisman, because that's not going to show up when we finish up this talisman edge because of the way the base game's upgrades work. I had, again, modded it so that you could select amongst any of them, I think giving quite a bit more utility to the Talisman Edge selections. Now, when I realized this, between recording episodes, that this is what's going to happen to me, I went and still adjusted the Edge files again. But I did not allow you to select amongst all the Edge upgrades this time. Let's show you what I did. So the Edge upgrades that you can select from a skill card will allow you to, will do what the base game does. In this case, allow you to select Water Attuned, Water Harmony. Basically, the upgrades that affect the release chance or the chance it will show up. For the challenges that you fail to protect you, for the same element, that chance still exists. Those upgrades are still here, and only those ones. And I added the opposing element, the one that beats this element, if you want to select it to gain a bonus to your attribute. So, air beats water, water beats fire, fire beats earth, earth beats air. And so, for the Water Edge upgrade, for taking Athletics Specialist, Sword of Air is now a choice that you'll be able to select. I remember having Wand of Fire and getting an edge upgrade, and the game was perfectly fine. So I don't think this will mess everything up. And if nothing else, we'll find that out soon enough when we find another edge upgrade, if this actually crippled the game. So let's go ahead. So in this instance, though, I'm actually not going to select Sword of Air. We can increase our sword's attribute at least one more time through our background. And if we get lucky enough to find another weapon, a melee weapon, we'll have 6 swords. So I'm thinking that in preparation for us having to deal with nightmarish traps, I'm going to select Water Attuned. X is subtracted from the chance that a water talisman that you possess will be released when placed on a result card that is revealed, where X is 2 times the level of the edge. So this currently reduces the chance that a water talisman will be taken away from us by 2% for having 1 point in the edge. Next, we're going to make a beeline for the evade traps edge. I think heroic feats edge. Let's do heroic feat. I want to reduce the amount of courage that are spent when I use my heroic feats. All right, now let's give this a try. You see a narrow plank bridging a huge collapsed section of the floor. You test the plank with your foot. It seems sturdy enough. You look down but can't penetrate the darkness below. You see the outlines of rubble and debris from the collapsed floor and judge that it is at least 30 feet down. That is a long way to fall. Oh, I don't like these. Slow and steady wins the race. You decide to carefully balance yourself. Oh, our choices are only to advance. Okay, I thought this was retreating. Then we will actually try to run quickly across it. Speed and decisiveness always win the day. You decide to move quickly and deliberately across a wooden plank. After all, it worked for Julius Caesar at the Rubicon. Did it work so well for him? We have a miserable hand. This is god-awful. We have Page of Wands. The next highest card is a 7. Then we have a bunch of low cards. So we're probably going to fail this. Yep. You start off with a spring and then another, and then you twist to the side in an awkward display of clumsiness. As you're falling, you wish you had a mulligan on this one. We do, because I'm going to control Alt-Delete if I take a wound. Yep. Fuck you, game. Yep. So, I am so mad. I'm so mad. So, I'm going to keep this because screw it. Screw it. I hate this game sometimes. I really, really do. Okay, warning. There's going to be a lot of language here. I need to vent. And it's not the same thing venting in silence as it is on screen. So we're going to vent here. I know some of you have been waiting for this day for a long time. Fuck this game. I hate how the game is like, guess what, Tim? You get no good cards. Again! For like the 20th time. And by the way, this is a really bad challenge to fail, because you could end up in the basement. And also, fuck you. Here's a wound. No. No. How about fuck you, game, instead? And your stupid edge glitch, which apparently is in the fucking base game, is why I'm replaying this at the moment to try to see if it was something I modded that caused the problem. Stupid script errors. The whole reason why Serenata Enowa is even exploring this place at this moment. We should have won with our other Sarah instead. Screw you. I hate you. The wound cards are so demoralizing that whenever I tend to get one and I'm not playing Reaper, I immediately reload. They are just god-awful. They lower your stat, which is already difficult to raise, and they take up weight in your inventory, and they, odds are, have some other horrific effect for having one. You might as well just kill the game, delete the character, or reload. They are just miserable cards to pick up, especially compared to the positive cards you get, which are very slight in the benefits that they give you. It's just terrible. I can't stand how it seems, just like when I play Armageddon Empires, it feels like the game is actively giving me cards sometimes. That like I'll encounter some traps. I'll get a trap, and I'll get one face card. It's a page, or no face cards at all. And most of my cards I'm looking at are 2s, 4s, and aces. And I can't stand it. And it seems to happen pretty often for difficult challenges in this game. Similar to how in Armageddon Empires, the dice rolls, they never, ever, ever seem to go my way, ever. Like, I can never meet the odds. It's never... The odds of what the dice roll in a game where it says they're 50-50, I'm pretty sure they're not 50-50 success for the player. It feels like it's cheating all the time. I hate this. And the fact that I know the game has a balancer in it, this game, which adjusts the difficulty, which effectively means that things that I have, like, for example, my lightning reflexes 4 points, nah, the game's like, fuck you, I'm going to increase the difficulty by 4 and take that away from you. It does this sort of thing all the time. I freaking hate it, some of the design decisions of this game. Why was it made this way? Why was it made this way? Why do I play this game every fucking year? It's clear I hate it. It's clear I hate this game so much. No, I don't hate the game. I just... So... This is something I want to talk about during the review. I wanted to hold off my opinion of the game until the review so that I could get it all out there rather than have it embedded in one section of the game. But we'll talk about it now, and at the same time, I will also talk about it in the review. So, I guess I'll give the game a review right now for the remainder of this episode, as long as we're walking back to the first floor to turn this one quest in. So... My big criticisms of the game are the glitches, the script errors. People have told me that they themselves get script errors in the game, and as we've seen, script errors make the game unplayable. I know Solium Infernum has this problem, which is why I have not wanted to record it, and why playing games in Reaper mode that Cryptic Comet makes I can't recommend it, because the odds that you could have a script error exist. And it's never fun when this happens. It ruins the entire game on you, making you redo lots of work. I don't like the balancing of this game. I think the game is balanced incredibly poorly. In fact, I would argue there is almost no real balance to the game. The card game you plays itself most of the time. Like, if you only have 4 tricks, you're going to use face cards that you have that could be played. Because there's no reason to hold on to them for a better card. The odds are always against you in that instance. The game becomes somewhat fun when your stats are high enough that you can have like 7 tricks on the board and 8 or 10 draw. Or if you're able to scry some cards. But that requires you actually getting to that point in the game, which is, it's not easy to do at all. I make it look easy, but unbeknownst to you viewers at home, many characters of mine, I threw them away after I started. I would fail a trap, get a wound card, I just, alright, delete the game, delete the recording, starting all over from scratch the next day. After I give myself a little break from the game to calm down because of how miserable the experience was. The rewards are all over the place. I hate the way the game has this AI that decides that things need to be tougher or not for you. So here, for example, we're lucky. The game has not increased the difficulty of this challenge. Actually, I think it has increased the difficulty challenge slightly because we're on the 2nd floor for this Scything Blades trap. But I hate the fact that this thing is here watching me and feels bad for me if I fail a challenge that it decided to artificially make tougher for me. I think on pure instinct you attempt... Alright, so hold on. Suddenly you look up and see 2 Scything Blades racing down the hallway at you. They are razor sharp and suspect they might be able to cut you in half. I think on pure instinct, you attempt to twist and rotate over the waist-high blades. And we don't have a face card, so that means we're probably going to fail this challenge. Oh, thank God we did not. The acrobatic maneuver comes off without a hitch. The blades pass underneath you and then, at the end of their run, seem to be sucked back into the wall. I don't like the design decision that I don't get to see what the cards were, because I'm very curious about if there's even any rewards on those cards. I think sometimes, no matter what card you flip, there's absolutely nothing on the other side of it. And I think that happens way more often than it lets on. I think the increasing difficulty for all the different missions that you have, like the demon one, is supposed to be the hardest. Why? Like, why do that? Because in some of the encounters really benefits certain types of investigators. The skill cards are miserably balanced that you select for your starting character, like the Mercenary and the Circus Performer. They're god-awful. In the base game, if you're playing with the story speed, you're going to struggle because you don't have time to do anything because you're spending most of your time fleeing from encounters thanks to your low stats. Playing on hard difficulty level must be a nightmare. I can't imagine anyone playing this game on anything harder than Agent because you get less stat points and the game's difficulty is increased. Do you like losing the encounters? Because guess what? You're going to lose the vast majority of them. I mean the vast majority of them if you play on a harder difficulty setting. This isn't worth it. I need more swords and cups. I don't like a 6 target with 5 tricks and 5 draw. So we're not going to even bother picking doors. Hello, skeleton. It seems impossible, but a human skeleton steps in front of you from out of the gloom. It hisses at you, and you smell the breath of death. Some dark necromancy must animate this long-dead creature. You can't even understand how the bones could be held together. It is terrifying. We have a queen, but that's the only good card we've... Well, we have a 9 and a 7. Your mind is weak. The existence of the reanimated skeleton is hard to fathom, no matter how many times you have seen one. You wonder if a curse or if a necromancer have some skill has summoned a spirit to animate this bag of bones. Was it sent after you? You remember from your briefings that its decayed appearance can be deceptive, and prepare yourself. You will need to either fight or flee. You got a bone pick with the skeleton. If you hack it to pieces, you suspect it won't be getting back up. We'll definitely take the Ace of Swords as our 4. You lost the battle. The skeleton is relentless and fearless. Soon, it has you in a tough position. Try that again. It's an undead, which is why we have 2 cards scryed during the encounter. You won the battle. Oh, that reminds me, we should... Oh, we did spend some experience points. All right, let's grab another edge. I think we'll grab a Heroic's Feet edge next to reduce the amount of courage that we use for our cards. Yeah, so other balance issues. Some of the edges, you get the impression you can upgrade them multiple times to make them more useful, but you can only upgrade them once, and they're kind of garbage. All the feats that affect you if you lose an encounter are basically just trash, because you would much rather not lose encounter whatsoever, and furthermore, you reduce the damage that you're dealt by doing better in the game anyway. So you always want to try to increase the amount of card draw, tricks displayed, or reduce the target number, rather than getting rid of bad cards that you might draw. The cards themselves are very wordy, and it's extremely difficult to remember what exactly the cards do when you use them. The spells are very tricky and they're all slightly worded differently. Our one edge that we started with doesn't help us whatsoever because of the way it's worded. It only affects cards in hand. That you can even start with a character who has an edge that they can't benefit from and may not benefit from the entire game is just, what the heck? Why would you do that? Let the player select their edges instead. The fact that you have to also try to make a balanced character, because the horror, with only 3 wands, we're going to lose so much sanity later on in the attic and the basement because of just how difficult the horror challenges will be. We'll get extremely lucky to pass any of them. So you have to kind of view the first floor as your chance to get a good buffer going for a decent amount of stats, because suddenly you're thrust into more difficult situations, and it's very difficult to pass them, especially on story mode. By now, we would have had probably close to 5 story tokens selected. This is like our 5th part at the moment. Like 2 more, and we're forced into the basement. We have no choice, or we're out of time. And our character won't survive the basement. Not all the way down to the cultist hideout. You said to give the gentleman ghost his odd cigars. You hand over the charred fingers and witness the delight on the ghost's face. Huh. Yes, I know it's a bad habit that will probably kill me, but the afterlife has such few genuine pleasures. Thank you, good madam. Here is something for the effort. Fuck you. Okay, where is Braveheart? So we're selecting that. I know I want that. Braveheart is actually one of the good edges in the game. Oh, right. So, I had adjusted Braveheart so that you could put 2 points in it. Normally, you only get 1. So this is another complaint of mine. The courage cost of the first heroic feat used in any challenge is reduced by X, where X is the level of the edge. 1 can't be increased. Why not just say 1 up there instead of having this X, so I have to read all that garbage and makes me think that the Braveheart should have had another upgrade pointed to it, which is why I gave it into the files. A lot of the decisions in this game are just, I don't understand them. So, someone asked, and I forget who it was, they asked, like, do you really like this game, Tim? Or is this like some sort of guilty pleasure? Because you seem to show off the worst and best aspects of it. And what it is that I like the ideas Vic Davis had for his Cryptic Comet games. He had a lot of imagination and a lot of ideas, but I just don't think they were implemented very well for some of his games. The Armageddon Empires is the best turn-based strategy game I have played. The amount of things you can do, the worry about it, the way the AI works, it's glorious. It has some balance issues, and I strongly feel the game cheats. It adjusts the dice and what success chance you have on them for the player, given the results I've seen consistently when I'm engaged in battles in that game. But otherwise, the game is fantastic. Solum Infernum, great theme. I love the idea of the game and trying to gain prestige as a demon from hell. And I, in particular, liked how it played because it's unlike any other type of combat game that you have. But it has some balance issues. Your charisma is the most important stat, for example, because you need to demand tribute every single turn in order to do anything in the game. And the game kind of encourages certain play styles, such as grabbing land as fast as possible, so this way at the end of the game you have more prestige earned, and conquering those places of power as soon as possible. This game, the gameplay plays itself, but I love the idea of the haunted house. The writing is decent, I like the puns, and I like the humor that was added into the story. The game could be a lot better though, and some of the writing is bad, lots of spelling mistakes, and later on the writing becomes lazy. Like some of the eldritch abominations we'll fight down below, the only difference is the wording in the text, like the names are swapped for other names and the color is different when you banish the creature, but otherwise it's exactly the same. It's like he rushed the very ending of the game. So I like the game, it's fun to play it for maybe 1 or 2 episodes, but then what happens is that I begin to notice all the flaws, and they become more and more pronounced the more I play the game until I begin hating the game. Because I feel like it could have been so much better than it was. And it's one of the reasons why I spent time trying to understand the game file so I could mod the game, so I could make a more balanced and more enjoyable game for me. Anyway, sorry. That's my feelings of Occult Chronicles. I'm pretty sure when I give the game a review, the game is going to get like about a 6 or a 5 on a 0 through 20, a -7 through 20 for me. I can't really recommend the game. I do play it every year. I do like the game despite the horrible, ugly aspects of it. But, sometimes it's just absolutely terrible. What time is it? Okay, we got like another 10 minutes. All right. So, we have another like 20 minutes. All right, so I'm now done with my venting, done cursing. Sorry, I don't like swearing on screen. I try my best to keep my cool all the time. That was just absolutely miserable. In retrospect, should have played the Empress or the Sun. Should have played one of these cards to stop that from happening. I had the means to get over the plank on me. However, realistically, I just chose the plank because I'm like, let's just cross the plank to get the other side to save me time. I'm not playing story mode, so there is never a reason to cross that plank. In fact, even if I was on a timed mode, normally I would never cross that plank anyway for exactly the reasons that you see. It's one of the encounters in the game where if it goes badly, it can go really badly, and you do not want that. So, it's also why you see me being very selective of the encounters I decide to do, like the axe-wielding madman. I know if I fail my fight challenge against him, I'm looking at dealing with wound cards being drawn. When I actually walk up to him to purposely fight him, I'll be willing to accept a wound card later on. but not at the moment. Not with the swords of 4. I want that to be 6 before I fight him. Alright, so I'm now done. So we can't walk back into that room. I don't think I'm ready for the backyard yet. So we'll explore the second floor. Any of the rooms that aren't locked can probably be safely explored. Or maybe not, actually. The encounters here can be pretty nasty. You are confronted by what seems to be, at first, a collection of crudely drawn scribbles in an oily black ink on the wall. As you examine it closer, the hairs begin to stand up on the back of your neck. You want to pull your eyes away, but they are drawn to the bizarre scratchings, and slowly they resolve into a panoply of horrific images of human sacrifice at the behest of some tentacled alien god. You know forbidden texts when you see them, and this is something that only the most experienced occult researchers could even dare tinker with understanding. It's too late now, though. You will need to steel your mind against the disturbing images. What would I do to make the game better? Shrink the cards down. Give the player more default tricks, more card draw, and make it so that like 15 trick cards could be on the board at the same time. In the end, when you have decent stats. This way, the early game, you actually can play the game a little. Like, maybe hold on to that king, because you're looking at 8 trick cards up there. It's just, I don't know. It's not the way it works. And I guess I am still venting a little bit. Sorry, everyone. But I'm going to vent a little bit longer. And then we have the aspect that we become too powerful, like the last Sarah. We cleared out all the experience points. We leveled her up. There was almost nothing that would be able to stop her, except for a glitch in the end, which did occur. So that was something else I wanted to mod. The experience point tokens you gain would be much rarer to get. I'd lower their chance to show up by a third or a half. And I'd make it so that you can convert sanity and life into experience points. Or maybe during a challenge, when you can get rid of a face card in your inventory and earn an experience point, but you have to do that before flipping over any of the cards that show up here. You know, something that gives the player a choice, some sort of balancing where you have decent stats. Okay, I'm going to risk my more injury and possibly losing the game, but to convert some of these into experience points. You seem to have the ability to partition. You seem to have the ability to partition of the dark corners of your mind. That may come in handy. Yeah, some more text problems. Actually, what I should be doing is now that I'm really interested in modding the game again, so I should be writing down all the encounters I have missed text that's bad and fixing them. The horrifying mural obviously depicts some sequence of rituals intended to invoke one of the ancient tentacled alien gods that so often seek to break the dimensional barriers and set themselves to feast upon the ripe harvest that is humanity. You wonder why it would be etched here upon the wall of this house. Now, I feel like I should be fair to Vic Davis as well. Poor Vic Davis. Insomuch that I believe Cryptic Comet was a one-man show. He paid artists for their work, but he himself did all the writing, all the proofreading, all the game balancing, all the game coding. It is a lot of work, and for that reason, that's another reason why I like these games, because at the time that I was playing Armageddon Empire, Solium Infernum, The Spirit Engine 2, I was buying a few more games. This was back in like 2004, 2006 or something like that. A lot of mainstream games I thought were garbage, and Steam wasn't the powerhouse it is today. There weren't that many independent games around. And Cryptic Comet was an independent game designer who made excellent tactical combat game. And Solium Infernum, I really enjoyed the theme. So Armageddon Empire, Occult Chronicles was an instant buy for me. And I do like the game. It's just the problems in it are so... Darn it. It could have been so much better than it was. We cannot decipher this mural. So we need one more draw and possibly one less target. So I want one more wands first. And to that end, we will be we're taking the Bone of Pentacles next. With the 6 Pentacles, we also want that so we can cast spells whenever we want. And this will open up another Talisman Edge. And I made it so that fire beats earth. So when we select the Talisman Edge, we'll be able to select the Wand of Fire to increase our wand's attribute if we so desire. Now, this plays in with the hidden statue of Cthulhu, which is somewhere on this floor. Generally, almost always hidden behind a secret passage, to my knowledge. So, what do I like about the game, Tim? Because there are things you like. So, I like the idea of the reward cards. I think it's fun to flip over cards you don't know if they're going to be what they are. Reminds me of the Heroes Quest board game with the treasure cards. I do wish that the game would flip all the cards over and show you what you missed by selecting what you took. You are suddenly confronted with the appearance of a ghost that seems to phase in from out of thin air. It stares at you and then turns away to kneel down and mimic the act of working on something around the sink. Suddenly, ghost red tentacles leap out of the plumbing and the ghost works violently to keep them at bay. Despite all your training, the manifestation sends tendrils of fear deep into your mind. You must steel yourself and your resolve and steady your nerves. Yeah, so this is a good example of one of the things I'm talking about when it comes to penalties. This is not the hardest horror challenge in the world. When we're down in that basement, if there was no way to improve our wands, if we have no way to get to do this, we'll have one trick up here. A target level of like 15. And we're going to start losing massive amounts of sanity. You can't quite get used to this. Maybe you should check into early retirement if you get out of this. And failing horror challenges on the basement, I think, has a chance of you getting impairments as well. You're watching the ghost of some long-dead handyman go about fixing an imaginary leak on a sink. The ghost begins to whistle a haunting melody and goes about its business, paying you no heed. The red ghost tentacles continue to slip out of the plumbing, and the ghost plumber stolidly works to fix the leak. You sense that the ghost isn't focused on this location. Maybe it travels all over the estate, making supernatural repairs. Our chance to communicate with it is very poor. We'll try at least twice. You decide to enter a trance and use your skills as a medium to find out what this ghost is up to. Perhaps it knows something about the house that can help you. You establish contact and psychically clear your throat. The ghost looks up at you with a troubled look on its face. It wants your help. I won't be able to fix this without me wrench. Can you go and fetch it for me? I left it around here somewhere. Had a big leak and need to seal it. These damn things are everywhere. The ghost goes back to his work. It looks like a wrench might indeed help him out. You wonder just what type of wrench he needs. Well, we know where that wrench is, and it's not too far from us. So we'll go and complete this quest, and then we'll call the session. This might be the last one I upload today as well, now that I have vented, because I feel like at this point I probably ruined the experience of this game for everyone watching, and that's no good. That's no good. We have one good card of Queen of Pentacles, a 6 is the next highest card, then we have a 3, 2 2s, and an ace. Okay, we did win that challenge. We were able to use a 2 of Pentacles to take an ace of Pentacles that showed up. I guess we should do this as well. Alright, not bad. That wasn't bad at all. You won the battle. Alright, take that, zombie. Now, this could go very poorly when we try to flee the tentacles that show up here. Well, let's give it a try. You decide to twist the wrench to remove it. It looks old and nearly rusted on the bolt, but sometimes kicking a hornet's nest stirs things up. Are you sure about this? Yeah, we're sure about this, especially because we got a Queen of Cups and we had the King in our hand. Oh, we had 3 kings in our hand. Wow. Nice. It wasn't easy. No, it was easy. But you pull on the wrench until it grudgingly comes free. At first, nothing happens, but then the pipe begins to rattle. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all. A grappling hook! Oh, that is such a nice card to get. You step back from the pipes, but it's too late. Tendrils of red vapor swirl from out of the pipe and coalesce into giant tentacles. You can feel an oppressive eldritch evil now permeate the room. You can feel its hunger. The tentacles seek you out, and you are certain that they want to consume your soul. You fight to keep your courage from utterly leaving you at this crucial moment. The tentacles intend to floss with your soul, and the very idea is disturbing. You have kept your sanity. You stand your ground and maybe even feel a bit stronger. So, that's not a good chance to psychically fight with only 5 tricks, so I think we try to run. Discretion is often the better part of valor. You suspect this might be one of those times. A queen and knight of swords, so we have a good chance to get out of this. A 10 of cups as well will help us. We also have a 4, a 2, an ace, and a 3. Where's Justice? I like my Justice Arcana card. I wouldn't mind seeing her again. Justice gives you, whenever you draw an ace, you get a point for it. So it makes the aces actually worth something. You will yourself to turn and run. Soon you feel yourself free of the aura of oppressive hunger that once surrounded you. Here's also what we're going to do, everyone. So that control delete, that reset, that will be the one time and only the one time I do it. If we get a wound, in the future we will just deal with it. My thought being that this game owes me for starting over again with that edge upgrade glitch. Especially now that I have been told that this was in the base game. So that will be the one redo I'll give myself. It also means that if we fail, Serenata Anawa fails her attempt this time, that will in fact be it for this year. Alright, let's complete the quest. You decide to tell the ghost that you found the wrench and pretend to give it to him. Pretend to give it to him. Well done. I'd hoped that you would not be my apprentice, but it looks like you were too smart or quick for that. Oh well, time's a-wasting. Got more of these holes to plug. This one here was just a small leak. With that said, the ghost vanishes. Glasses of the Overworld. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Temperance. An Arcana card. Okay, so that's really good. Alright, I like this, because I like good things. Only good things. I hate bad things. No bad things. That's the rule for this game. Temperance. All successful challenges that do not normally have a chance to generate a skill token card have a small chance to do so, and any challenge that normally would has its chance increased by 50%. Well, this card is in your inventory. So this affects our chance to get experience tokens, is what that does. Okay, so that's not so bad. That's another one we can probably just drop in the future when I no longer think I need it. And we picked up an item I'm not familiar with. Oh, thank God. Glasses of the Overworld. +1 wands. Use glasses. We can only use this once. Oh, but we can consistently use it. Roll 1 bone and bump the card value down on 1 random revealed non-face trick card where -X, where X is the number of wands rolled. Then draw a card. So we started with a bone of wands because, so here's another thing. If you just pick up this game and you're starting to play it, you might not realize how difficult it is to make a balanced character. In particular, when it comes to building a character, there will be a singular stat which I say to myself, this stat is the one stat in which I cannot and will not focus on very much during my game. I won't take a skill card to increase it, my starting card won't increase it, and the other skill card also won't increase it. So this means that I'm probably not choosing a skill card that will give me a bone for that either. So I always make sure I choose the bone for the stat that I will not be selecting a skill card from that would give me a bone for that. This way, if I do find something, like the Glasses of the Overworld, I have the bone that will allow me to actually use it. Now, granted, there's no chance we will succeed. We will need to roll a 4 or less in this instance, but at least the chance is there. All right. So, that's it for this one, everyone. I'll still record another episode today, I think. I have now come down. I'm not as angry as I used to be. I vented. I feel pretty good. We'll be back for another one. So, I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching and putting up with me venting about the game. I will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.